Hello, fellow Factorians. Welcome back to my Pyanodons challenge run. During the last episode, I built increased a level of science. So that's why, as you can look over here, my science production is running at 180 science per second. Or in theory, that's what it's supposed to do. But unfortunately, very quickly, it's going to tick down. And yes, this means that I'm going to fail another challenge, but I'm going to do something a tiny bit different this time with how I handle it, because there's only two mistakes that I've made. One of them seems to have been an error in, I don't know, like just pure silliness. Right here, I've somehow deleted a conveyor belt that was here. This was taking ash over to my log production, and therefore I'm getting way less logs than I should be. So I'm gonna spike the ash over here a little bit and make sure that more ash runs into my system and get more trees. And then also I will push in some extra trees just to make sure this doesn't dip too badly, because it's going to take a little bit for it to catch up. So yeah, I'll just take all these existing trees. I don't know how I managed to pile so many pieces of wood into my inventory, but they seem to just collect there. Now that one wasn't so bad, and I'd be tempted to even not call this one a failure, but there's a more serious one down here. And this one is more of a planning fault on my behalf. You see, down in this carriage voiding system, there's one boiler here that is meant to void the coal dust that these ash solid separators get rid of. But it's managed to fill itself up completely with ash because it doesn't have quite enough oomph to get rid of the ash that it's meant to process. I'm going to fix that by adding a faster inserter and also get rid of this, which was pulling in some extra fuel. I could just add another boiler here, and I think that's what I am going to do. Just to have like that just bit of extra capacity. So I'll move the "You shall not pass" filter a little bit higher up. There we go. The carriage wasn't actually getting that far, and this wasn't blocking anything yet. This is the reason it's falling now is the tree problem rather than the carriage problem, but this was about to die. So I'm going to count that as another fail that I've added here. Failed carriage voiding system at 5240. And while it's catching up, I'm going to build something else. But I'm going to handle this differently because it's kind of like two spot errors, and I don't really want to run this episode without having collected more technologies. I really want to get basic substrate, and also I'm thinking I would like to get the blueprint shotgun after all, so I'm going to preemptively preempt that basic substrate. Because I'm going to go into hands-off mode just a minute after science catches up. But in the meantime, I will entertain you with a new build. Can you guess what this does? Let me know in the comments if you have any idea what this thing is meant to do. I would love to know hear the speculation. I need some more pipes. Build some more. If you guessed that this was a wind sensor, you win. How you guessed that, I'd love to know, because I don't think I, looking at it, would have any clue just from taking a peek what it's meant to be. But maybe you did, and I'm impressed if you managed to do that. I guess I've built enough pipes. So I'll explain how this works after I fill in all the steam engines. But in theory, what this is meant to do is let me know when I have plenty of wind power. If you look at my power graph, there's plenty of times when we hit like 0 steam engine usage because the multi-bladed fish turbines are carrying the entire load of the base. And there's the potential that either I could turn on something new during that period of time, or I could turn off something during the times when the steam engines are running and potentially save some power, save some coal, or just kind of reduce the load on my base. It's not a serious concern. And frankly, the fact that I try and run this base at this continuous production of science mean this is more or less this is not super useful for me, but I figure somebody could use it if they thought it was interesting, and yeah, so I just wanted to show it off. So I need to prime these, and I'm going to actually use a wind turbine for one of these. So right now, for what happens is there's one pump that keeps this tank almost completely full, and then there's another pump that gets a pulse from this brick running around here, and puts in a little bit of steam each time that there's that pulse is going in. So when power is being used by these steam engines, this tank is below 10K because it's only getting a pulse of steam every once in a while and being kept close to being topped up by the other pump. When wind is completely, like it is right now, when wind is completely taking the load, though, these steam engines are off and the tank is full. And then I use this kind of latching system with a wind turbine on it to create kind of anonymize the signal, so to speak. So I could just read this tank directly and pump it onto the radar network, and then places that I want to check, is the wind going or is the wind not going? I could say, okay, is the steam at 10,000? But that's kind of a silly thing to do. So instead, I put this wind turbine here, and then when it's sitting in this sector, which is between the steam is at 10K and the let it pass if it's below 10K, that will mean that I can just say, is the wind turbine signal at 1 on the radar network? If so, turn on or turn off whatever I feel like turning on or turning off. Anyway, so that's that potentially interesting build. Science is back to 180, and I suppose I should reset to the full 120 minutes. And also I needed to remember to set my science target to 140, although I think we're going to be able to hopefully maintain 180 for this whole time. It'll be kind of silly if I run this and then there's another fault that I didn't know about, but I guess that'll be just a second failure. Let's reset the timer. Now we're counting down from 120, hopefully, and we're going to maintain 180. I'm going to jump into accelerated time now and talk to you about the plans for the future episode and maybe several episodes in a row, and I'll be back soon. During this hands-off period, things go swimmingly. My science maintains a nearly perfect 180 SPM. Because basically I can't build packs faster than that, and one of the first things I'm going to do is increase the amount of pack production I can do, so maybe I'll be able to hit 200 with that, maybe even higher. We'll see. But for the short-term and long-term goals, what I'm going to be doing is working toward hitting the ground walking with Pi 1. What do I mean by hitting the ground walking? Okay, so this is YAFC for doing Pi 1 at the just broke into the science level. That means that, like without any more additional research from Pi 1, this is what I'm going to have to do if I want to hit, this is 100 science per minute. I just have it in seconds to make it a little easier because I'm used to, knowing things like, that's actually going to be nearly 8 quartz belts of quartz, which I cannot probably manage 8 belts of quartz, even if I mine out 2 patches. Even worse, I'm using processed light oil because it's exactly 1 megajoule per liter. That is 1 gigawatt of liquid fuel that I need if I wanted to make all the glassware that I need for 100 Pi Science 1 at that level. So this is probably way, way, way too much. Like, I am building up petri dishes in the base, and I might actually accelerate that so I buffer some more petri dishes. And even to add on to that, I need 450 per second steam, which could run 30 steam turbines, so that's not an insignificant amount of power added on to the 500 megawatts of electricity that I would need, which is a whole lot of fish turbines that I don't have yet. So yeah, the idea here is not to go at 100 right off the bat, but eventually I'm going to be aiming for 100 or even more. But what I want to do is just break into PyScience 1, use, like as much of my base power and glass production as I can manage. I'm going to shift over to having my base make even more liquid fuel. Right now, I've been avoiding making liquid fuel, so I need to switch over to make as much liquid fuel power as possible. And then there's just 2 early technologies that will change this into, which is like, look at this, 110 quarts per second, 540 megawatts, and this much steam, even like half a belt of stone, and it changes it into this. I need coke oven gas isn't quite exactly 1 megajoule per liter, but it's close. And I don't know why I couldn't get it to use the other thing, because coke oven gas will become my primary source of liquid fuel after I get just 2 technologies. The first is hot air, which makes making glassware and petri dishes much more efficient, and the other is crushed quartz, which makes making liquid glass more efficient. And I drop down from needing 8 belts of quartz down to just a little bit over 2. So that's a huge difference. And, this is a much more sustainable build. I even use up less power. Now, like raw coal, okay, I need like, I need 7 belts of additional raw coal, but, like that's doable. Whereas 8 belts of quartz ore was not very doable. So yeah, so the idea is to hit the ground walking, but started as soon as possible. So as soon as I unlock the tech, I really want to be starting to make PyScience 1 in as much rate as I can manage. It might only be 30 PyScience per minute, might be 40, 50, we'll see, but I'll be rolling it up and getting to a higher level. The important thing to note with the sciences is that when you get to the next level, it uses the old packs, and it uses them at a different ratio. So for every PyScience technology, you need 1 PyScience and 2 automation packs to do 1 science worth of research. So yeah, when I get this, that's why I'm looking at 100 per second, because my base is going to make 200 automation per second at that point. Hopefully, maybe a little bit more. We'll see. And, so I'll have to gradually increase both PyScience 1 and automation science. The nice thing, there will be a few technologies that I can continue to work on and will be useful for me even once I've gotten PyScience 1. So I can kind of like work on those and then use up the PyScience 1 that I make and work on those, et cetera, et cetera. And you'll see that happen. But, I wanted to explain the plan, which is going to probably take at least 10 episodes to evolve. And this is what I'll be referencing back to when I do my various builds. So with that said, during hands-off mode, I don't do very much. I fix a path, trying to do it at 15x time control speed, which was very annoying. And I mess with my task list and add a few things, clean up what's in there. So yeah, that's what I managed to quote-unquote accomplish during that 2 hours of hands-off time. And back to the episode, and things went well. I'm at 180 science per minute, so that's both a success and a failure during this evolution. I'm just going to fix a couple of minor things that I spotted in my bootstrap base. Oops. I also need to now switch over to hands-on mode. Let's go. Okay, there we go. I noticed that I could not do the lane switching that I was doing here. And lane switching is a tiny, tiny, tiny amount of UPS cost, but it is a UPS cost, so might as well. Also, I realized that I was filling up these buffers way too high, so I'm going to shut off my small parts construction when I am over 12K. So yeah. But the first thing that I want to do in my task list, if you're looking over there at the left, is to increase the amount of automation science pack that I make. 12K. There we go. Yeah, I should have done that earlier. I had this trying to fill up, but kept making more and more science packs over here. So yeah, I've got quite a backlog. So let me collect the materials to go address that over in my science base, and I will be right back. It's this task. And I fixed this item and that item. Oh, one other minor thing that I wanted to do is there's a little bit of optimization I can do with... it went up too early. A little bit of optimization I can do with my stone insertion here. I think I wanted to prioritize output to the left, because this lane is not getting as full, and there's stone that slightly backs up because of that. Then yeah, it'll make this work a little slightly better. I also realized that I've not hooked up this ash line over here, and that's something else I will want to do when I come back here. But I'm going to be working on trees as one of the tasks within my episode, so I can do it then. I'll just have to remember. I don't think I even wrote it into my task list, but I just saw it. Oh yeah, that's a thing I needed to do. Okay. I'll be back for that later. I do not have a lane up, do I? Well, let's add one. Assuming I've got some concrete, I do. Okay, yes, and this was running at full tilt, so I'm going to add another set of assemblers here. You've seen this build, you know how it works, so I'm just going to go into accelerated time to build this out. Be back shortly. Okay, and there's some additional science production, and I'm well over 200, although that may be because these belts are backed up with supplies. I guess I will monitor this and come back and add even more flora collectors if I need it, because that's my current limiting factor. With that in mind, I'm going to go and optimize further my stone production, because there's a couple places that I can add some yellow inserters to make things even faster. So I'm going to do that, because these, as you can see, these stone brick lines are not getting fully consumed, so I guess I'm going to make things go even a bit faster. Be back after I've done that, but yeah, it's pretty obvious. I just go ahead and toss yellow inserters like here and here and here and here, etc. Yeah, so fun with inserters. Back in a moment. Alright, and that should help my science building go even faster. One more fix is I need to get this lane of ash to be completely full. I think the other ash lanes are... Let me double check them. They should be... This one's not quite full. I mean, but it is all basically full. This one's full. And this other one is mostly full. So yeah, these two ash lanes that are coming in from the top section are not quite completely full, and that can be addressed with a little bit of splitter love, because I've got a additional full belt of ash coming in to fill those up. They're just not quite enough insertion. This fix might not even be much of a fix, so let's just make you watch that, I guess. And I will also clean up this mess because, yeah, it could also be improved with... I guess these inserters are really doing their job pretty well, but no, I don't need to fix this. I will come back and do something else. So looking at my task list, I've increased science production, and I've repaired my bootstrap base a bit, so I can hide this one. Increased science production is done, and now I want to make more trees, because I'm basically at the limit of what my trees can manage, and not only do I want to, like have more for automation 1, but I'll need a ton more for automation for Pi. So I'll be back after I've done that. This is basically a copy of this build down here. Fortunately, I don't have Blueprint Shotgun quite yet, so I can't use my new toy to fill in that build, but it shouldn't be too hard. It'll just be, kind of time-consuming. So yeah, I'll come back after I've started working on this and gotten all the resources that I need to do it. Alright, I am back, and you may be wondering, what is this guy doing out here? He was going to build more trees, wasn't he? And that's a very valid question, and the answer is threefold. Yeah, I came up with 3 reasons why I'm not going to do the thing that I said I was going to do just a few minutes ago. Reason number 1 is I had already planned to do a centralized muddy sludge build. I wrote it right here. And I want to do a centralized muddy sludge build because I'm going to have byproduct muddy sludge at certain points, like when I process borax, which is pretty close by. So I'm going to want to have a kind of like a centralized line of muddy sludge to feed all that byproduct in. So you might as well make a muddy sludge, like a centralized muddy sludge processor anyway, since you're going to have that centralized line. The second reason is because this is one of those builds that I could very easily make only run when I have wind power going. The best candidates really are the builds that do something with liquids, because you can both store off the liquids really easily. Like you can just put them in a big tank, and tanks are really convenient buffers because they don't really cost any UPS to process, and they're very easy to spam. And also because it's really easy to cut off and add to, with pumps, it's very easy to cut off the ingredients to a build like this, whereas it's, I would have to like wire every building if it's more like a solid-based recipe. And then the last reason is because that tree build is extremely meticulous, I would say. And I think I would rather wait till I have Blueprint Shotgun to build it versus building it right now. So yeah, that's the 3 reasons that I've come up with to do muddy sludge instead. And and I'm gonna hook the muddy sludge up to that tree build, so I'm gonna want to not do the muddy sludge on site like I have been doing previously for things that need muddy sludge. So yeah, I'm gonna just work on this. It's gonna take me a few minutes, and I will be back after I'm done with it. See you then. Okay, so I've set up this build. I've left myself, a reminder that I can keep building to the left and maybe downward as well. The way I'm going to use the wind power is if the wind turbine is set, then just keep making it and fill up these tanks to the brim. If wind power, but also if these tanks are less than 10% full, we'll maybe make this 20%. They're less than 20% full. Make it anyway. And then the goal there is then, yeah, like just make extra when there's wind, and if there's also if you're running short, make it then. So I'm going to hook this up, but first I need to figure out what is going on with my signs. Did it break completely? Why did I have such a huge dip? Fluid's pitch started falling off, but that's probably not why. That's not that much of a dip. Let's check. Planter boxes. This fell off dramatically, like really dramatically. So what's going on here? Because it looks like it's running. I guess I need to add some more radars out here. These are not running. Is there full? This is full. Maybe I was just so low on wood that I'm running out of power to run my... Because this is like... Okay, yeah, so maybe I'm just low on wood to power the system because I've dragged off so much wood to do other things. Okay, I guess I will have to address this. I will be back shortly. I will also hook up the muddy sludge pipe as I go. Alright, well, good thing that happened early in the episode. It gives me a chance to fix the problem before it became a catastrophic one for my hands-off time, so I'll just reset the science alert and keep going. But yeah, also it means definitely that I will need more wood coming in. I use some more wood here. I think 2 inserters is still enough to keep those running. Also makes me really look forward to the sawmill turd. If you don't know what the turds are, you're in for a treat in the future, but turds are these special unlocks that you get by researching a particular technology, and then you have a choice of 3 different options to what kind of like bonus you get out of the technology. So anyway, I've got muddy sludge coming in, and I think I'm going to take apart the existing muddy sludge on these builds before I just hook those in. Hopefully this will be fine. Yep. Trying to keep pipes out of my pathway. I don't know if I'm going to drive cars down some of these paths, but maybe I will, and if I do... Oops, definitely don't want it there. And if I do, then, yeah, pipes and pathways are a bad thing, even with squeak-through, I think. I can go here. Alright, let's hook in this muddy sludge. Sometimes I think my biggest problem in Factorio is how finicky I am about placement sometimes, for no reason whatsoever, just because I feel like being finicky. Okay. This will keep the muddy sludge flowing. I think I had plenty of like moss backed up here. Don't quite have blueprint shotgun, and there is one more build that I plan to do, so let's mark off muddy sludge as done, and it is using our new awesome wind sensor. Oh, here's something I could do. Definitely address this briefly. So I've got tons of soil in my inventory, no wonder. I build something with it. Yeah, I can build moss farms with it. Now what I'm going to work on is item number the 2nd, which is syngas. What am I doing on time? I might not actually get to that tree build. So, syngas. Syngas is a pretty simple recipe. What you do is you take coal gas and water, and you run it through these gasifiers. I guess the name is very spot on. And then you get syngas and more tar. So it is one of the things that you can use to energize a fluid. So you take the coal gas, which is pretty low energy, I think. Coal gas, the fluid index. There we go, 200 kilowatts, kilojoules. So one of the lowest powers available. Turn it into syngas, which is twice as much, and then even more tar. And the recipe makes more syngas than you get from coal gas. So overall, you just can use that for extra fluid power. I also need it to make plastic in a tiny, tiny quantity. So yeah, I'm just going to do that recipe. All right, so I've got the materials ready, and I've also unlocked the blueprint shotgun, which I've never used before. So I guess I get the learning experience live. Also, I realized that I needed to put a control valve here, so I'm going to do that. There we go. That always needed to be a top-up valve. I think hopefully one top-up valve is enough. How much tar am I actually making? Yeah, plenty. Alright, where do I put this thing? Oops. Nope, wrong blueprint. Come on. Syngas. I think I will be putting it here. You're good? Because I want to save this for acetylene. This for more coke production, although I don't need the space below it. So maybe, yeah, I'll put it below the coke production. The copper production. And that way. Oh, no, 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 no. That build needed to be set with snap to grid relative. I like making these in square blocks because then they can sometimes share pipes. Also, they're just kind of appealing in this shape, so make it like that. And that means I need to clean up some trees, so I'm going to work on this. Yeah, syngas, pretty simple. If you look at the recipe, for 50 coal gas and some water, you get 70 syngas, which is more than double the amount of fuel, and 30 tar. So you're kind of just rolling in the money from this one usage. But it also, I just don't need the syngas and I don't need the fuel value. It is a perfect candidate to only run it when wind power is available. I guess I'm going to talk now to remind Editor Me to come out of accelerated time for a little bit, because, yeah, Blueprint Shotgun is as fun as I would have hoped for. Yeah, it even clears out the trees that are marked for destruction here. That's just pretty awesome. So, yeah, this is going to make building, especially intricate stuff, a lot more efficient, which is what I hoped for. And it almost feels like a cheat, but, like, I'm okay with it. Because this is just really fun, watching the little pipes drop on. There's probably a few things that will build faster with me just running down a track and be like, oh, okay, I can throw down belts faster than Blueprint Shotgun can do it. But for most things, especially with the way I build with like little intricate nooks and crannies of items, yeah, this is just going to be fantastic. Alright, I was mostly done with this build, but then caught another issue. I am managed to disconnect water somewhere that it needed to be connected, so I'm going to go connect that. Really fortunate to do the painful thing first, the dangerous thing, which turned out to be that muddy sludge, which I thought was going to be safe, but was not safe because I'm really good at unhooking things that should not be unhooked. Like this water should have stayed hooked up. Yeah, so I'll fix this and hopefully it'll send science going, although it's going to take a second for the trees to catch back up. Fortunately, I still have 15 minutes of before I should go back into hands-on time, or hands-off time. So yeah, I'll be safe-ish. I guess I'll be doing that tree build next time. I might not. No, I can probably start working on it and kind of get interrupted in the middle. That should be fine. I'm not going to hook it up to anything then. All right, back to coal gas, which again will get the same treatment as before. I will add only one tank. Okay, I need more tanks as well. So I'll be doing the same thing that I did with the muddy sludge, which is to check if wind power is available and then hook in, make syngas then. Alright, this build is mostly hooked up. Now I just need to do something with the ash that it creates, so I'll need to feed that to a solid separator. I think I have one here that is dramatically tasked, so it should be pretty easy to deal with that particular problem. This build does not create very much ash, even with so many machines running, I'm pretty sure. Oh, nope, I tell a lie. It actually does. So I'm going to need a full additional solid separator. Fortunately, I brought one along. Love that rate calculator lets me just say, I have no idea. Just let me check with rate calculator. Now, I would be nervous about hooking that build up if I was actually going to build a significant amount of syngas, but I'm not, so this build should stop pretty soon. Alright, so now I just need to deal with the fact that science is not caught up yet, and also that I kind of want to move the syngas around somewhere. I will just establish a line for it here. It's not going to do much at the moment, but like it might as well at least drag out the pipes for it. So yeah, I'm going to go deal with my science problem yet again. Be back soon. Looks like it's just a matter of trees needing to catch up, so I'm gonna force feed my build some logs and get this thing going. I think I'm right at the edge of my time limit. Well, again, it's a soft time limit. I don't know why I keep calling it like my time limit when it's really just this is the point where it's gonna cost you even more time waiting to get this done. I'm going to force feed it some logs, and then I guess I will make some more fish turbines while I'm waiting for it to catch up. So that's an excuse to enjoy myself as usual. All right, well, that's addressed, and that should start catching up science. I found a couple of inserters that had been not set to filter properly and were just working correctly by coincidence. So yeah, time to install some more fish turbines. Be right back. Okay, things are just barely starting to come back together. I'm up at 150, and I think that means that I will be running at full tilt pretty soon. How's my power situation? I don't think I will notice that it's having an effect, but you know, like I'm optimistic. The only other thing that I can think of that would benefit from the wind power generation system, I don't know if I mentioned, is the tar processing system. If I doubled that and then kind of like did the same thing, but you know, like checking pitch or something like that, I would get a benefit of there and maybe save like 10 megawatts during the low wind period. But otherwise, yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with how things are going. Despite that, unfortunate, like there's so many load-bearing elements to everything here. Like, oh, delete this water pipe, everything falls over. Delete this random conveyor belt in the middle of nowhere that, you know, like obviously I shouldn't have done and it was a mistake, but you know, everything falls over. So I'm gonna have to watch myself, but and also be really much more judicious about checking the whole system at the end. Might just do a couple more. No, I don't even have a way to feed them power. Guess I won't. Save that for next time. Time to reset the science alert and go into hands-off mode and hope that you know, all my problems have been addressed. Otherwise, it'll be another memento mori for me, which, you know, like, I guess 7 over the course of maybe like 30 hours, a little more than 30 hours is not the worst rate, but, and if I get a success next time, I'll be back up to 50%, but I'd really like to, you know, like, get at least you know, like a passing grade, which is going to take a while to delete off or like get there after so many failures. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the episode. This is going to be a slightly longer one, a more talky one. Hopefully I've not been boring you too much. Looking forward to seeing you next time.